This program is brought to you by Stanford University. Please visit us at stanford.edu.
8 black boys in a southern jail. World, turn pale. 8 black boys and 1 white lie. Is it much to die? Is it much to die when immortal feet march with you down Time Street? When beyond steel bars sound the deadliest drums, like a mighty heartbeat as they come? Who comes? Christ, who fought alone? John Brown, that mad mob that tore the Bastille down stone by stone? Moses, Joan of Arc, Dessalines, Nat Turner, fighters for the free, Lenin with the flag blood red, not dead, not dead, none of those is dead. Gandhi, Sandino, Evangelista too, to walk with you. 8 black boys in a southern jail. World, turn pale. Langston Hughes.
Langston Hughes was one of the people who began to add to the voice of Du Bois, someone who could, as indicated, use his power as an artist to get the case of the Scottsboro Boys before the nation. For Du Bois, though, the Scottsboro case was a mixed affair because he had always been the person who was the most influential intellectual that African Americans had. And yet, by the early 1930s, fewer and fewer people were listening to what Du Bois had to say, particularly about the Scottsboro case. He said in his Crisis magazine, "The Scottsboro, Alabama cases have brought squarely before the Negro the question of his attitude toward communism." And for that, Du Bois felt they were making a mistake. Because the communists were cynically using the Scottsboro case to persuade African Americans, in his view, to join the communist movement as their only solution to their problem. At the same time, though, he was dissatisfied with the NAACP because it was not responding to the economic problems of the Depression. Now, as you know from the previous lecture, Du Bois was, by this time, going through a difficult period in his life. He had recognized the decline of his influence during the 1920s as other black intellectuals and artists emerged to be the voice that he had been almost solely through the crisis. People had, as I said, waited for the crisis to arrive because that was the national voice of African Americans. But by the end of the 1930s, on a political level, he was losing his influence. On a personal level, he was going through a very difficult period. Now, this was apparent in the aftermath of the ill-fated marriage of his daughter, Yolande, to the gay black poet, Countee Cullen. As I mentioned before, this was the social event of the decade for African Americans, and certainly a high point in Du Bois's life, something he saw as a crowning achievement for someone reaching the age of 60, and to see his daughter married to one of the leading figures of the Harlem Renaissance.